Good evening and welcome to the first year parent workshop hosted by the Office of Freshman Studies. I am Veronique George, the Digital Marketing and Media Specialist at FAMU, and I have the honor of serving as your moderator. Tonight, leaders across campus will share important information as the university moves forward with fall plans. The workshop will feature Dr. Lewis Johnson, Dr. Sandra Kinsey, Dr. Jamie Davis, Dr. Sabrina Edwards, and Ms. Deborah Sullivan. Next, Dr. Jennifer Collins, Assistant Provost, Office of Freshman Studies, will provide an overview of the Office of Freshman Studies.
Good evening, and thank you all for joining us tonight. At this time, I'll turn it back over to Ms. George to move forward with our agenda.
Good evening, parents. We'll get right into our agenda this evening. Dr. Lewis Johnson, Associate Provost for Student Success and Strategic Initiatives, will begin with the Fall 2020 course modality and logistics.
Good evening. It's a pleasure to speak with you. I will address some of the fall schedule and take some questions around it. Next slide. For fall 2020 instruction, science laboratory and experiential courses are the main ones that are the main courses that will be offered in a face-to-face modality along with gatekeeper courses. In the course schedule, which we will show in a little bit, courses could either be in the face-to-face modality, in which they'll be listed with a location. They'll be in a remote modality. That is a course that has been transitioned from a face-to-face to online learning, or there'll be a normal online course that could be offered in two types of formats, usually asynchronous, which is usually where learning is self-directed. Students learn at their own pace through the course, or in a synchronous fashion in which the course has specific lectures at a specific time of day. Next slide. When you're looking at your schedule, you'll see a room location. If you see a room location, as in the case of the first item there, School of Journalism room 2274, that means that that class is going to be offered face-to-face and it'll be in that room at that day and time. If you go down further, you'll see a class 1972, which is remote. That class is going to be offered online, and it'll be at that time where the lectures will occur Monday and Wednesday from 10:10 to 11:25. Next slide. This is another example. This class here, the class 2944, is an online class. That means that the class is going to be offered in an online modality. In this case, this class has a time that is past midnight. That class is an asynchronous class, so the class will not meet for lectures at 12:30 at night. And there's another example. This class is online and it meets from 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. That class is in the asynchronous modality as well and will not have regular lectures. Next slide. The questions often come up about the technology needs for online student success. Next slide. The university strongly recommends that each student has access to and ongoing use of a computer system. Online coursework requires use of a computer and broadband internet access. And of course, university services such as student registration, academic advising, coaching, tutoring, and official university communications require access to computing devices connected to the internet. Next slide. So what is a good computer system? Well, we recommend either a Macintosh or a Windows PC system. A system with a minimum of a Core i5 processor, probably the best for future proofing is a Core i7 or higher, should at least have about 8 gigabytes of RAM, about 256 of gigabytes of hard drive storage. Definitely should have a camera, microphone, and speakers. The university will provide Microsoft Office, which can be downloaded free from the university once you complete the registration process. Next slide. A word about Chromebooks and iPads. Chromebooks have, and iPads cannot access software that is needed for online testing. So if you do have a Chromebook or iPad and you plan to use them for your online academic work, you should have access to either a Macintosh or a Windows PC for online tests if your professors require the use of a lockdown browser. And some specific program requirements. Architecture recommends that students have at least a computer system with a graphics processing unit with at least a minimum of 2 gigabytes of VRAM. That's it.
Thank you, Dr. Lewis. Next, we'll have Dr. Sandra Kinsey. She is the Assistant Vice President of Program Quality for the Division of Academic Affairs, and she will discuss textbook acquisition.
Good evening, FAMU, family and friends. Thank you for joining us. Tonight, I would like to talk a little bit about how your students can order their textbooks for the fall 2020 semester. So students who are enrolled at FAMU for fall 2020 can, as usual, purchase their instructional materials from the FAMU bookstore online. Options for purchase include new textbooks, used textbooks. Students may also choose to rent new or used textbooks, and the textbooks are also available in digital format and hard copy format. By purchasing the books online, students still would not incur a cost if they use ground shipping as their method of shipping to send it to their home address. If students want to get the books in hand early on, then an additional fee would be incurred for the rush delivery options. For those students who select to rent a textbook at checkout, they'll get a confirmation email that they've received the rental textbook. The rented textbook, again, is in digital or hard copy. Along with the confirmation email, they'll get information on where the book needs to be returned and when it needs to be returned. For those students who are on scholarships or some type of financial aid, if your monies exceed the cost of tuition and fees and you're eligible for a book voucher, that book voucher may also be used at the FAMU bookstore online. To be eligible for the financial aid book voucher, the student, of course, has to be enrolled at FAMU, and they must have a FAMU Radler ID card. With that information, they can then go online and enter their FAMU user ID and password. And at checkout, after they've selected all of their textbooks, there is a checkout button that says book vouchers. The students then may click on the book vouchers and go through the checkout process as normal. However, students do need to know that they must secure the book voucher prior to going to the bookstore online. For students who are in the military or veterans and they're receiving that type of aid through that particular funding source, they will need to contact the email address that's listed here on screen prior to trying to purchase the textbooks to get specific information. Beginning this fall, FAMU has engaged in a partnership to lower the cost of instructional materials by year for all of our students. We've learned from the data that if students have their textbooks in hand on day one, they're more successful at FAMU and more than likely will graduate in 4 years and ready to enter the workforce. This partnership is with a vendor called Cengage, and the title of the subscription through Cengage is Cengage Unlimited. What that means is that if any student is enrolled in a class and their instructor is requiring materials from the Cengage platform, then the students may go to the bookstore online and purchase a Cengage Unlimited subscription at a low cost of $125 annually. Every textbook that then is a part of the Cengage platform and that is required for the students will then have access to those textbooks all year long for the rest of the time that they're at FAMU for $125 each year. They would not incur additional costs unless the textbook is from a different vendor.
Thank you, Dr. Kinsey. Next, we'll have Dr. Jamie Davis, Director of Undergraduate Student Success, and he'll be talking about tutorial services and academic coaching.
Good evening. My name is Dr. Jamie Davis. I am one of the directors in the Undergraduate Student Success Center. I want to transition to what support services are available to help the students do well during their first year here. And we have an array of options, but today I'm going to talk about academic coaching and tutorial services. So academic coaching is fairly a new service we offer. We want to ensure that the students have a successful transition to campus. Typically for freshman students, when they come to campus, it's a lot going on. And especially during this time period with COVID-19, we want to have a team readily available to help the students with their transition to campus. So our coaches, they are designed to assist in the transition, working on study skills, problem-solving skills, time management. And again, these are the issues that all freshman students have when they come to campus. Typically, they bring the approach they had in high school, which probably worked out well, but when they come to campus, we have to kind of switch things up a little bit. We need to get the students to be more focused, and that's what we kind of hone in on. So the academic coaches are readily available. They meet with the students either weekly or bi-weekly, depending on the need of the students. And their goal is to make sure at the end of the semester that one, they do well academically, but also that they have a great experience here at FAMU. Next slide, please. The coaches they come from an array of different backgrounds. We have coaches that come from an education background, former teachers, social workers, psychologists. We have coaches who speak multiple languages. So we try to select academic coaches who, one, understand students, they understand pedagogy, they understand what it takes for a student to do well here at Florida A&M University. So the coaches are well-trained and prepared to work with your children as they come to FAMU. Next slide, please. We also have tutorial services, and this is very important. Just like academic coaching and tutorial services, we plan to be online, so remote learning, but also face-to-face when necessary. So our tutors, they're well-trained in almost every subject we have on campus. Our tutors, they pass the course that they're tutoring in, so an A or a B in the course, and we work on pedagogy. So we make sure that they understand how to teach the subject that they're tutoring. So our goal is to create an environment for the students where they feel okay seeking tutorial support. There's a stigma a lot of times, especially with freshman students that did well in high school, that when it comes to tutorial services, they're a little bit reluctant to come. But we kind of create an environment where students feel a level of comfort when seeking help. And our goal is to make sure that the students graduate in 4 years. And the only way they're going to do that is by doing well in these key courses. Typically, freshman students come for science classes, math, but also for writing. Next slide, please. So because of COVID-19, we kind of had to adjust And the adjustment will include allowing us to offer tutorial services online. And we partnered with a company, and we have what we call a whiteboard space where the student can still get that support. So like you see in the example on the screen, the student can type in the issue or the problem that they're having, and the tutors can write on the screen and break it down how to solve that problem or how to address the issue. So even though we're online, we're remote, we have the ability to help and assist the students. Also, we offer tutor.com. Tutor.com is an around-the-clock service. So if our labs are closed and a student still needs support, say they're a night owl and they're up at 1:00 a.m., we have tutor.com. They can log into our system, select the course that they want support in, and there's somebody readily available to assist the student to ensure that they understand the concept. So our goal here is to make sure that the students get support, whether they face-to-face or online. Our goal is to make sure academically that they have all the support that they need. And again, our goal is to make sure that the student has an amazing experience here at FAMU. If you have any questions or support, I will remain on the line. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Davis. Next, we'll have Dr. Sabrina Edwards, Director of Academic Advising, and she'll begin by talking about that subject now.
Good evening and welcome, parents. Academic advising is the major vein to your scholar's academic journey. The Center for Academic Advising, our hours are Monday through Friday. Right now we're working virtually, but we are effective in our practices. Our times are from 8 to 5 with extended hours as necessary. The academic advisors will be able to communicate with your scholars and respond between the hours of 8 and 5. And we're also available during Zoom meetings. I am always available. Again, I am Dr. Sabrina Edwards, and I'm the Director for Academic Advising. I can be reached at sabrina.edwards@famu.edu or my remote number, 850-412-5916. Next slide, please. The mission of the Center for Academic Advising is to provide the support that all scholars need in regards to retention, progression, and also to help them to progress through graduation by providing effective academic advisement practices. What is the importance of academic advising? We're the main vein of academics. Academic advising provide crucial success plans to students to assist them in selecting their appropriate academic major, many times helping them to decide on a major and making sure that we do this in a timely fashion, because our goal is to make sure that we get them through their required curriculum within 4 years. Academic advisement assistance is provided by the academic advisors. All students will have an opportunity to be assigned to an academic advisor in their various academic departments. Again, that will provide them the guidance that they need towards their curriculum and degree completion in their various majors. Our functions as an academic advisor consist of conceptual, relational, and informational. We provide an overall importance of what advising is. We provide a strong relationship of making sure that students understand the importance of academic advising and how important they play a major part in being involved in the process at the very beginning, the first day on their arrival on campus. We give students the respect and recognize that each of them have their own individual academic plans. We also provide the developmental structure needed for each student. Again, taking a case-by-case situation that all students are different and they have to have their own individual plan. We spend a lot of time providing the necessary resources, helping students to come out and map out their plans, and also provide options to help them make the best decisions in their years at FAMU. We also have the students understand their degree requirements, the course requirements. What are some of the academic information? their introduction to iRattler, which they'll have a lot of time using iRattler to help them guide them through their academic paths. We're responsible and excited to provide referral services. One of the main things that we want to stress to our parents is the importance of FERPA. And we'll talk more about that in the next couple of slides. And what are guidelines of FERPA in regards to parents as to the information that we release to you in order to make sure that your students are academically successful. We understand that you want to be a part. Joining me today is one of our outstanding advisors. Our advisors provide exceptional student experiences and outstanding customer service. Ms. Howard, would you like to provide the roles of academic advisors?
Good evening. Yes, again, I am Charlene Howard, one of the academic advisors here at Florida A&M University. And we're so excited to have your freshmen on campus and virtually with us this fall semester. The role of the academic advisors is kind of similar to what you may know in the high school section of a guidance counselor. When we assist your students with their academic roles. And so we assist students with academic programming, including their degree requirements, with their major and their minors if they were to have a minor. We advise students in regards to their enrollment. This includes course selection, it includes sequences, also with program planning, dropping courses, repeating courses, or if a student needs to withdraw from a course. Academic advisors also conduct degree audits to verify that your student is meeting degree requirements. It is very important for us to know that your student is on track and that they are graduating in 4 years. And academic advising is an integral part of making sure that your student stays on track and on time. We also make academic referrals, just as you saw earlier, to the academic coaches and the tutorial services. Your academic advisor, your student's academic advisor is very connected with those departments to make sure that if your student needs to utilize those services, we refer them out. We also make non-academic referrals, such as the financial aid office, our CEDAR office, which you will hear from today as well, and then our counseling services and other stakeholders here at the university. So Dr. Edwards is going to continue the presentation on academic advising, just to kind of tell you a little bit about new student holds and also returning student holds. Once your student is returning, there are some holds that might be on their account that affects academic advising and their registration.
Thank you, Ms. Howard. As Ms. Howard just stated, many of our students experience holds. Parents, new student advising and registration, we can't start those important pieces unless holds are released. Listed, you will see bulleted, are several holds. These holds must be cleared in order for students to begin their academic and registration process. Those holds includes new student orientation hold, immunization holds, a transcript hold for those individuals who may be transferring, residency hold, and also incomplete admission seat deposit payment of $150. These holds will prevent you from moving forward with your academic advisement sessions. So we want to make sure that you understand the importance of clearing these holds in order for you to begin your academic journey at FAMU. Next slide. Returning student holds, take action. Registration holds prevent a lot of things from happening. Our returning students experience a student registration hold, which is placed on based on a variety of financial and administrative reasons. Students are notified of registration holds prior to each registration period and are required to clear these holds before they begin to register. Hopefully, you will clear those holds before you leave, but when you return, those holds are still there. And those holds prevent you from registering for your courses. So please make sure that you take action and clear those holes. Some of those holes consist of academic advisement holes, cashiering holes, financial holes. You need to know how you're going to pay before you're actually provided with your classes. So please make sure you take advantage of those and take action to have those holes clear. You also are required to, it is imperative that you see the university website for a detailed description of all hole codes. Students can view these holes and apply them to their records in iRattler by visiting www.famu.edu, and you're going to click on the details link on the Student Center to obtain detailed information about your hole. Take action now. Next slide, please. Our welcome sessions, very important piece of academic advising. This allows students to be able to come in, meet the academic advising team. Students will be provided detailed instruction, a very engaging opportunity to help us move them from throughout the academic advising process to include the academic advising process and the registration process. On Friday, July 24th, which is tomorrow at 11 o'clock, we will begin our first general welcome session with the dynamic team of academic advisors. They will be able to provide you with a step-by-step opportunity on what academic advising is and also the process. Each of the students will be instructed how to use their academic advising module and the schedule builder. Again, this is a very engaging opportunity. Again, with my dynamic staff of academic advisors, we are ready for you. We are ready for your scholar parents. Students will be able to provide reminders about holes such as immunization, residency, incomplete. We just don't want them to come in and feel alone. But as academic advisors, we're going to let them be aware of those holes that they might be experiencing. So we will discuss that with them if they have holes during our academic advising session, such as the immunization, the residency, incomplete admission forms, and other holes that may restrict them from being advised or enrolled into their courses. Next slide. The academic advising session again will be on Friday starting tomorrow at 11 o'clock. Students will be able to meet their assigned academic advisors. They will be able to be provided with their curriculum guide and courses. Students will learn their academic advisor's process and method of advising. Right now, all our advising sessions are face-to-face, remote. We want to provide exceptional experiences by providing face-to-face, online Zoom sessions so you can get that feel as if we were on campus. And so we're here to serve you. And so again, students will be able to discuss courses in their academic plan via Zoom starting tomorrow at 11. Next slide, please. Student roles and responsibilities. Coming to college has a lot of anxiety for both parents and students. Students have a major responsibility in regards to their academic journey. At FAMU, students will meet with their academic advisor each semester for early advising and registration. We will provide it and we will read and follow all directions provided by your academic advisor. It is critically important that you meet with your academic advisor so that you will be provided with adequate directions in regards to your advisement process. Communication, this is very important, parents. I know a lot of our students utilize Gmail and Yahoo and Google, but the formal official communication with students and the administration, your academic advisors, is the FAMU email. FAMU email. And because we're now remotely, we're utilizing the FAMU email, our Google phone numbers, and Zoom. Again, it's very important that your scholar utilize their FAMU email. Please understand the university deadlines and policies and procedures are critically important. These components will be addressed with your academic advisors. Provide proper documentation to be able to share with others regarding your scholars. Parents, we know you love your children. They are now FAMU scholars. And because they are FAMU scholars, we require that you have FERPA, our FERPA form on file. Now, you're probably asking me, what is FERPA? FERPA is the Family Education Right and Privacy Act, acronym FERPA. FERPA is a federal law that protects the privacy of students' information record. The law applies to all schools that receive funds under applicable programs of the U.S. Department of Education. You're probably saying, well, I had access to their academic record in high school. Yes, I understand that, but now if they're 18 years or older, FERPA gives parents certain rights with respect to their children's education records. These rights transfer to the children when he or she reaches the age of 18 or attends a school beyond the high school level. Students are informed of their rights when they transfer to and become eligible students of an education of higher learning, such as FAMU. To learn more about your FERPA form, here you will see that there's a, the hyperlink is not live, but you're to log on to www.famu/index, and you'll see the rest of the address link if you want to be able to write that down. Here's the address. You want to be able to make sure you download that form, and you're to return it to the office of the registrar at registrar@famu.edu. It is very important that you submit this form. Otherwise, we are unable to share any academic records or anything about your scholar's progression academically at FAMU. Help us protect your scholars. Again, please make sure you download the form, the FERPA form. You return it to the office of the registrar, signed, scanned, emailed to registrar@famu.edu. Let us help you and protect your scholar. Otherwise, we cannot give out any information, and we want to be able to make sure that we are serving you effectively. But again, with all confidence and confidentiality, we must have that form. So please fill the form out and send it back to registrar@famu.edu. Next.
And before we get to our final slide, Dr. Edwards, we had two last points.
Yeah.
One, very important for our freshman students to understand, attending classes is part of your responsibility, helping us and helping you. Yes, they're virtual. There's some on-campus classes, and I know you're going to have a lot of flexibility and a lot of freedom, but parents, help us help your students in continuing, to calling them in the mornings, sending them those messages, texting them, making sure they're on Zoom, making sure they're in class. Class attendance increases your freshmen's performance in graduating and getting good grades in class. So make sure that they're attending, don't be afraid to talk to your academic advisors on way of helping them. And lastly, utilize those resources on campus. We have a dynamic student success team here at Florida A&M University, from our academic coaching, for our tutorial staff, from our freshman studies program. We are all here to assist you. Academic affairs and student affairs are connected and ready to serve your students. So don't be afraid to use the services at Florida A&M University. Don't be afraid to talk to your academic advisor. Don't be afraid, parents, to contact us, contact our director. She is a phenomenal director. We have a phenomenal team of over 30 academic advisors waiting to service your student. We are so excited. And like we say in the academic advising department, what is that, Dr. Edwards?
Let's go. Parents, we will see you in 4 years. 4 years. So let's celebrate now and let's go.
Thank you so much, Dr. Edwards and Ms. Howard, for your presentation. And next we'll have Ms. Deborah Sullivan, the Director for the Center for Disability Access and Resources. Dr. Sullivan?
Good evening, everyone, and welcome. I want to start off by introducing our staff. Again, I'm Deborah Sullivan. I'm the director of the Center for Disability Access and Resources, otherwise known as CEDAR. We also have on the meeting tonight Ms. Gwendolyn Harris-Johnson. She's our assistant director of CEDAR. I don't know if you want to say hi, Gwen.
Sorry about that. I was on mute. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Florida A&M University.
And then I have Alejandro Polito. He's our assistant director of our Learning Assessment Center. Ms. Gwendolyn Harris-Johnson is our interim academic advisor, and that's because that was her role up until a few months ago when she was selected to be our assistant director. And we just received information that we're receiving a new academic advisor, Miss Marthea Pitts, and she'll be starting on Monday. So we're really excited about that. We also have Joshua Louder. He's our coordinator of programs and outreach, and Taisha Thomas, she's our department assistant. Next slide. So who we service is, we service Florida A&M University students that might have a learning, psychological, or physical disability through the use of academic accommodations. So learning, generally it's a learning disability. It can be in math or reading or writing or all three. We have students that have ADHD or ADD. Psychological can be anxiety or depression, bipolar, schizophrenia, any of those mental health type disabilities. And physical disabilities can be things like cerebral palsy, muscular dystrophy, vision, hearing impairments, but it also can be some medical conditions that impact the students' ability to access the curriculum. And that could be like sickle cell anemia, significant diabetes, and other medical conditions that may prevent them from being in class all the time, or be able to complete work in a timely fashion. So currently we have over 700 students that are registered with our office, and we provide service not only to the main campus, but we do provide it to the satellite campuses as well, such as the College of Law in Orlando. Our mission is to provide enriching support programs, services, and reasonable accommodations to students with disabilities. We also try to foster a sense of empowerment in our students because we want them to know about their legal rights and responsibilities so that they can make informed choices and be self-advocates. We really work with our students to help them advocate for themselves. And our goal ultimately is to ensure that students with disabilities have access to all the same programs, opportunities, and activities that are available to all other students on campus. So we do it because we're mandated services. We're under 2 federal laws and 1 state law. Section 504 Rehabilitation Act and the Americans with Disabilities Act are both federal laws, and the Florida Educational Equity Act is a state law. Next slide. So the Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973 basically says that no qualified handicapped person shall, on the basis of the handicap, and this is actual language from the law because as you can see it's from 1973, be excluded from participation in or be denied the benefits of or be subjected to discrimination under any program or activity that receives federal financial assistance. So any program or activity or business that gets federal funding has to follow the mandates under Section 504. The American with Disabilities Act is also a federal law, but what it did is it took the Section 504 law and actually expanded it and eliminated the requirement for federal funding. So now any public place of employment, transportation, public accommodations or telecommunications, they all have to have non-discrimination policies. And the ADA, again, applies to all entities, whether they get federal funding or not. And then the Florida Educational Equity Act is basically, it mirrors those two laws and is a non-discrimination against any student or employee in the state system of public education, and is prohibited on those basis of race, ethnicity, national origin, gender, disability, marital status. And it covers the K-12 and higher ed. And all of these are covered, the oversight of these is through the Office of Civil Rights, because they're basically non-discrimination mandates. Eligibility students would complete a new student intake form, and they would have to provide the appropriate documentation from a qualified professional verifying the disability. So if it's a learning disability, usually that comes from a psychological educational evaluation that might have been completed. If it's a mental health psychological disability, it would probably come from a psychologist, psychiatrist, a licensed mental health worker, sometimes a licensed social worker, somebody that is licensed and certified to provide a diagnosis. And medical disabilities generally come, or physical disabilities generally come from the medical field, a licensed doctor, etc. Just a side note on that, and a lot of times students, incoming freshmen, will submit an IEP or a 504 plan that they had in high school. And although you can provide that, it's not sufficient in and of itself. It would allow us to do temporary accommodations until you can provide the documentation that I just described. We offer a wide range of support services and accommodations for all undergraduate and graduate students with disabilities. Some of the common ones are extended time on tests, preferential seating, of course, that's only in face-to-face, recorded lectures, alternative testing site, test readers, reduced course load, and we have assistive tech to support students as well. The things that we can't do is we can't lower the academic standards of a course, and we can't substantially alter a program or a course's essential requirements. We can't change a degree program requirements as well. So if it's what would they consider a fundamental alteration to either the course or the degree path, then we would not be able to do anything about it. Student responsibilities is that they have to initiate the process of determining eligibility, and they have to initiate the request for accommodation. So once students are certified eligible by providing their documentation and their new student intake form, they can then submit requests for accommodations. They have to initiate that. And then they have to provide that letter of accommodation that's generated from CEDAR to the professor. We ask for a minimum of 2-week notice and major accommodation requests. So if there was something that really needed significant time to put in place, we would need at least 2 weeks. Otherwise, we ask that once you get your letters of accommodations, that the professors have at least 48 hours or 2 business days to implement. And the processes for receiving your accommodations from the time you submit to the time you get the letter is generally 5 to 7 business days. So it's the student's responsibility also to follow any testing procedures of the faculty and of CEDAR. Sometimes we have students that take tests when they're on campus. In our department, we have a separate testing room where we can do alternate test site, which is proctored. But there's a process for that, and it's the student that has to follow that process. Also, if there's any kind of an accommodation, any kind of need that a student has, such as a personal aid or something like that, it would be their responsibility to provide that. The university would not. And then like we said, it's their responsibility. They should be meeting with faculty, requesting assistance through supplemental services and meeting university standards. If students have tried advocating for themselves and run into a barrier, we certainly we help the student with advocating for themselves. But we always encourage them to take the first step, and then we support them after that. This is our contact information. If you have any questions at all, feel free to email me or call the main phone number, and we will put you in touch with the right person. And we look forward to helping you this incoming year. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sullivan. And thank you to all of our presenters tonight. You guys did a wonderful job and shared so much information that's helpful for the parents on this session tonight. We want to jump right into the Q&A. So we're going to start with those questions that are in Q&A from the Zoom session. We'll begin with the first question that has popped up a few times. Is this presentation being recorded and will it be shared?
Yes, this presentation is being recorded and it will be shared on the university website as well as our Facebook page.
Thank you, Dr. Collins. And Dr. Johnson, this question may be for you. Which computer is recommended for computer science majors?
We don't recommend a platform. However, we recommend the specs. So as long as it meets the specs listed, i7 core processor or higher, quad core, 8 gigabytes of RAM, and 256 hard drive, it will be sufficient and future proof.
Thank you, Dr. Johnson. Dr. Davis, this question may be for you. Can the students switch tutors if they aren't understanding the concepts covered by the tutor?
Absolutely. The student does have the option to switch a tutor, but again, our tutors are well trained and prepared, so hopefully they wouldn't have to.
Thank you, Dr. Davis. Dr. Johnson, this question may be for you. What are the face-to-face classes going to be starting again?
The face-to-face classes, we're offering some face-to-face classes in math, English, science, arts, music, architecture, and health sciences.
Okay, and Dr. Johnson, stay right there. With the increase in COVID cases in Florida, has FAMU decided to go full remote for the fall semester?
We are closely monitoring the situation. At this time, we are still going forward with our plans.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Johnson. Dr. Edwards, this question may be for you. A user has stated that their daughter has been trying to get in touch with their academic advisor, and she signed up for her academic advising session for tomorrow at 11 a.m. She wants to know if there are other options that she has because she'll be unavailable to meet with him. Do you have any suggestions for her?
Yes. I want to make sure they see my face with my response. Yes. If the student is unavailable to meet in the advising session on tomorrow, we're having our advising session tomorrow at 11. If the student can send me an email, my email address is Sabrina, Sabrina, .edwards@famu.edu, and we'll get her scheduled.
All right, sounds great, Dr. Edwards. And this question may also be for you. When will the student have the opportunity to be advised?
The students will have the opportunity of being advised starting on next week. We're having a very intensive, engaging workshop on tomorrow. which will provide them with all of the pieces that they need for us to be able to serve them effectively on next week. So our advising session will begin on Monday, but they're going to have to set up an advising meeting, Zoom session with their advisor, schedule a time, and then the advising process will begin after that.
All right, Dr. Edwards, just a heads up, there are a lot of questions about advising, so you might have to stay right there. But another question was asked, does admissions have an advisor to inform the student of which transfer credits that have been counted? Mm-hmm. And will the advisor know tomorrow when some of the freshmen are supposed to register for classes that they have credits earned towards those classes?
So that's a couple different questions. When students' transcripts are received, the Office of Admissions evaluate those transcripts with the collaboration with the registrar office. So we would most likely have, hopefully those credits are in the IRATLA, so we'll be able to effectively advise them. If not, then we will seek out the assistance from the registrar office to make sure where they are with the transfer credits. And then once that's done, then we can effectively advise students. But it's critically important that we have those transcripts in place to ensure that we're putting them in the correct courses to avoid duplication. So you understand the importance of transcripts. So again, if the transcripts are not there, we will communicate with the Office of the Registrar to see when those transcripts will be evaluated so that we can be able to effectively put them in the correct courses.
Thank you so much. And also a user asked, when will students have the opportunity to be advised?
Starting next week. Hopefully they'll join us tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock for the academic advising orientation. And tomorrow we will give detailed information on what would take place next week.
Thank you, Dr. Edwards.
Thank you.
Next question. Thanks for hosting this event tonight. Will you all cover housing as well as high level for the students' orientation?
Is that a question for me?
It could be.
You said housing?
Yes, ma'am.
Will we provide housing for the students?
They're asking if we're going to cover anything about housing tonight, as well as information about housing for orientation.
I can answer that one.
Okay.
We have another session scheduled for next week, next Thursday at 6:30. The Director of Housing will be present for that session.
Thank you, Dr. Collins. Dr. Edwards, this may be for you.
Okay.
Can you explain what information will be covered by the academic advisors tomorrow during the Zoom meeting?
Okay, during our academic advising session, the students will come in, they will meet all of the academic advisors for their various academic disciplines. We will actually walk them through the iRattler and the schedule builder on how to select the courses. The academic advisor, this is like a training before the academic advising session. And so we will show them how that session is going to take place in regards to selecting your courses. And the advisor will have the opportunity to show them how to select courses, how to actually go into the iRattler to register for their courses. So it's going to be a very, very engaging opportunity tomorrow. Also, in addition to the advising session, we're going to cover how to remove some of those holes that may prevent them from moving throughout the advising process. So sometimes, hopefully we don't come into that type of challenge. Hopefully the holes are already removed, but we're going to get them through the academic advising process to begin selecting their course and also showing them how to actually register for their courses in iRattler. As hopefully everyone has had the iRattler, they've already went in and validated and went in and select and approve so that they can be able to go in and utilize iRattler. Hopefully everyone has done that. And
thank you, Dr.
One more piece. I got to stress that to make sure parents, please make sure that your scholars are utilizing the FAMU email accounts. The information will not be going to Google or Gmail, or Yahoo, it is imperative that they check their FAMU email account. Otherwise, they're going to be sitting there trying to figure out where their academic advisor is. And that information, all of the information is sent to the FAMU email.
Great point. Thank you, Dr. Edwards. Dr. Johnson, these next two questions may be for you. The first one is, can my freshman choose all face-to-face classes, or does she have to go to class?
At the orientation session, you will have the option of choosing face-to-face classes. If not, for most freshman courses, there are remote or online versions of those classes available. So if you wish to be totally online, you can.
Thank you, Dr. Johnson. And the second question is, will masks be required for face-to-face learning and other campus activities?
Mask will, the campus policy is mask will be required for learning all activities, and not just by students. It'll be the entire campus community, faculty, staff, and students.
Thank you, Dr. Johnson. Dr. Edwards, what does the academic advisement hold? Dr. Edwards, this next question may be for you. What is it exactly is the academic advisement hold?
Okay. The academic advisement hold is a hold that is placed by the Center for Academic Advising to protect the students. Let me say that again. I know students are excited about going in and registering for their courses. The advisement hold is placed on there to protect them academically until they speak with one of the advisors. Once they have an opportunity, a meeting with their advisor, do a scheduled advising session, that hold will be removed. Then that will give them the opportunity to register for their courses. But if they have not met with an academic advisor, that hold will stay on. And also, in addition to that, I know you didn't ask this question. But most of the students who have not received anything about academic advising is because you must first attend the orientation session. You cannot come to the advising session or participate in the academic advisement process if you have not attended the orientation. And so a lot of questions around this is centered around orientation and academic advising. You go to orientation first, and from orientations, you should have received a link to register for the academic advising session, our first session on tomorrow. So again, it's very important that you, one, attend orientation, two, and in conjunction with attending orientation, make sure that you check your FAMU email account for pertinent information in regards to academic advising. Otherwise, you're going to miss a step, and you're going to miss a major step. So parents, I express the importance of utilizing the FAMU email account.
Thank you, Dr. Edwards. Dr. Edwards, this next question may also be for you. Is there an immunization form that's provided by FAMU that they can give to their doctor to complete?
I'll answer that one.
Thank you,
Dr.
Dr.
Hudson. Yes, there is an immunization form that they can receive from Student Health. They can visit the website and make the request, and all forms are also on there. However, they should have a shot record from their doctor's office or their physician, or even their high school, that they can submit to us for documentation of the shot records.
Dr. Hudson, I also responded and sent that form to that individual who asked that question.
Great, thanks.
All right, thank you, Dr. Hudson and Ms. Howard. Next question may be for Dr. Edwards.
I know
my
it's
son
coming.
has
I know it's coming.
My son has a transcript hold, but is currently taking summer classes. They want to know why there is a hold. His transcript was received prior to taking summer classes.
I understand that. I understand, everyone understand that we're in a pandemic, and so that process may be a little slow right now, but I will guarantee if once he starts the advisement process, the academic advisor is well equipped and adequately trained to contact our representative in the registrar office. Many of those transcripts have already been evaluated. It's just the point of having those transcripts actually added to their academic plan in iRattler. So again, we can make that happen by just connecting the dots and then showing where the transcript evaluation is. It's just a matter of fact of being able to have access to what has been evaluated and in regards to transfer credit. So we'll work with that student.
Perfect, thank you so much. And these next few questions might actually be for you, Dr. Edwards. The next one is, how does the incoming freshman contact their advisor tomorrow?
They should have received a link. All the students who went through orientation, we had three orientation, with matter of fact, 4th tonight. They should have received the link to register for the Zoom session. The academic advising Zoom session will be tomorrow at 11. At 11 o'clock, we will walk them through. They will receive all pertinent information in regards to their academic advising sessions that will take place with their academic advisor. But first, we need them to register to attend the orientation tomorrow that will begin at 11 o'clock.
Dr. Edwards, if they didn't receive that, can they email someone so they can get signed up for that Zoom session?
Sure. Again, I'm going to be a popular academic advisor. My name is going to be global after tonight. Please, all parents and scholars, please email me at Sabrina, SABRINA .Edwards, EDWARDS @FAMU.edu. You will get a link tonight. Please send it to me, and then I will send you the link and the flyer in regards to detailed information on how to go in and register. We need you to register tonight because we would like to see your face in the Zoom place at 11 o'clock tomorrow. Please send that email to me at Sabrina, SABRINA .Edwards, EDWARDS @FAMU.edu. We will get you the link tonight.
Ms. George and Dr. Edwards.
Yes, ma'am.
One more reminder about the transcripts that I'm finding. There's a lot of questions in here about transcripts. Also remember, especially if you're here for the summer, make sure that you submit your transcript with your high school degree posted. That is another reason why your transcripts could not be processed, because your degree has to be posted on the official transcript, as well. I've seen a few people who say that they've taken classes at a community college, or they might have earned an AA degree. We have to make sure that those transcripts have the AA degree posted. So a lot of times the transcript that you submit to get admitted might be different than the one that you need to get posted in order for those credits to show to get advised. So that's another tip for parents as they're looking at what they submitted to the university.
Great point. Thank you, Ms. Howard. Our next question may be for the academic advisement team. Will you share with the students the correct steps to take to get these holds released? And will you share that so they can register for classes?
Yes, we have a large selection of videos to assist students in how to remove those holes. Again, if you send me an email, I will give you detailed scenarios and videos to assist your scholars in removing those holes. I have them ready. You just have to email me and tell me what hole they're experiencing. We are ready to serve you.
All right, and how does an incoming freshman contact their advisor for tomorrow?
We will be on our Zoom session tomorrow. And if they can't attend, they need to contact me again, sabrina.edwards@famu.edu. And I will connect that scholar to their academic advisor. It's imperative that we do that. So please make sure you email me and I will connect the dots.
All right, thank you, Dr. Edwards. And next question is, as an incoming freshman, my daughter has already sent her final transcript 3 times. She wants to know when will these holes that are associated with her account be cleared?
To the transcript, or what account? You talk about in regards to transcripts? Is that the transcripts are probably being evaluated, so we're waiting on the transcript evaluator. Once the evaluator has evaluated the transcripts, the transfer credit hours will be placed in our Rattler.
All right, thank you so much. Next question. Will more classes be opened up for incoming freshmen? At most, the classes are showing that they're filled.
Dr. Johnson, is Dr. Johnson?
Well, I can answer that in terms of CISA courses. Dr. Matthews has courses for freshmen in the Department of CISA. Those are some of our English, social science, humanities courses that our freshmen needs. So we have been working within our college with the academic advisors and RD to ensure that we have the courses that freshmen need. And I know Dr. Johnson can probably talk about the other areas in terms of math and science.
Typically, the areas of math and science and the social sciences, we have classes that we hold back until the freshmen start to register. So so they are not showing because they're waiting for the orientation and the advisors to start putting the freshmen in those classes. And also,
thank you so much.
Also, I saw that there was a couple of questions about the classrooms and safety in the classroom, so I'll address that. For face-to-face classes, we've been evaluating all of the classrooms on campus to make sure to see how they will flow in this area of social distancing. So all students have to be 6 feet apart. We have to have adequate protection from the class for the faculty member for safety. So we've been evaluating all the classrooms. So what you'll see is enrollments in social distance classrooms will be less than normal to reflect the social distancing requirements. And there'll be sometimes safety precautions installed depending on the classroom.
Thank you, Dr. Johnson. Next question, for incoming freshmen, do you need us to order final transcripts from high school?
Yes, it's imperative. We need all final transcripts, all high school final transcripts. We understand that many, for an example, here in Duval, there are 22 high schools and graduations are taking place like today. The last final graduation will be tomorrow. So many of those students are waiting on their final transcripts. You must have final transcripts. That's a major requirement.
Thank you, Dr. Edwards. And now we'll move on to some questions that were emailed to the panels earlier this morning. We'll start with a few questions for the presenters tonight. What protocols are you taking with social distancing in classrooms and around campus?
So, as I said before, we are evaluating all the classrooms that are going to be used for face-to-face instruction. We are taking into account social distancing, so we're reducing the class size. We're marking where students can and cannot sit. We're installing safety precautions, labeling one door as entrance and one door as exit, and all the stuff that needs to be done to make sure that it's safe for faculty as well as the students in the fall.
Thank you, Dr. Johnson. Next question, when will we be able to purchase textbooks?
Hi, this is Dr. Kinsey. You can actually purchase your textbooks online from the FAMU bookstore now. In order to search for your textbooks, there's also a place on FAMU's bookstore that if you enter the course that you've registered for, it will let you know which textbook and instructional materials are required for that particular course. The Cengage Unlimited subscriptions will also be available for the bookstore mid-August, through the bookstore mid-August.
Thank you, Dr. Kinsey. Next question, how long are orientation activities each day for parents and students?
What was that question again, Veronique?
Dr. Hudson, that question was, how long are orientation activities each day for parents and students? And also, the next question is also about orientation, and it reads, does the rule still remain for one parent per student at orientation?
Yes, it does still remain in orientation. The Zoom orientation is approximately 2 to 3 hours, depending on the questions per day. And so we spread it out to make sure that we abide by the CDC guidelines. And so that's why we're requesting certain numbers to make sure that we're able to space accordingly and that everyone receives the information necessary.
Thank you, Dr. Hudson. Next question, is everyone being tested for COVID? And what will be the protocols if some test positive, either a student or staff?
We have protocols in place for testing. And so we have a testing center are requested to be tested. If someone tests positive as a student, we have a quarantine space. They will still be able to receive their coursework, if faculty or staff test, we are doing contact tracing and we're requesting that they quarantine themselves as well. So we have mechanisms in parents and students. I would recommend going to our COVID-19 site. The entire plan is posted so you can be assured. We update it every week. We also have all of the postings of the town halls that we've had, from orientation to housing, all of the questions that you're asking, you can actually go and review on the FAMU website to get all of your questions answered. And we also have some Q&A on the FAMU website that will cover the multitude of questions.
Dr. Hudson, I'm not sure if you're still speaking. I can't hear you on my end, so if you are, feel free to jump in at any time.
Finished.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. All right. Next question. What precautions does FAMU take to maintain the safety of the students, especially students who live on campus?
We've taken all precautions necessary. We are constantly cleaning. We have a cleaning schedule specifically for those that live on campus, but it's everyone's responsibility It's not just the university's responsibility for the health and safety. We are requesting parents and students to abide by the university guidelines for cleaning. We need everyone's assistance in wearing their masks, not going to large group gatherings. There's a plethora of things that we have in place. If you would take the opportunity to read the reopening plan, it'll give you all of that information that we have set up. But we have a plan in place for students that'll be residing on campus, but also for students residing off campus who may come to campus for face-to-face instruction, as well as for our faculty and staff.
Thank you, Dr. Hudson. And we're going to take 2 more questions this evening. We're going to wrap just in a few minutes here, but wanted to take 2 more questions that came in from the Q&A. The first one may be for Dr. Edwards. Does admission or the advisor inform the student which transfer credits have been counted? And second question is, will advisors know tomorrow when some of the freshmen register for classes if their credits were earned?
Yes. The advisors will be, matter of fact, that'll be their official communicator. The academic advisors will inform the students on what courses were transferred as they move throughout their academic advising sessions, which is critically important.
Thank you,
The students need to know, so we're going to inform the transcripts has been evaluated. So academic advisors are ready to inform them what credits were transferable to FAMU.
All right, thank you, Dr. Edwards.
You're welcome.
And this next question may be for Dr. Kinsey. Are the textbooks sent to the home or is it on campus that they need to pick up?
Textbooks will be mailed to the student's permanent address. That's entered whenever they do check out. If students are selecting ebooks, they'll receive a confirmation code with the ebook number or access code. If students select hard copies, then they could be mailed to the home address at no cost if they select ground shipping. Additional fees will be incurred if they choose rush delivery. Hard copy and digital materials are also available in the Cengage Unlimited subscription.
Thank you, Dr. Kinsey. And that concludes tonight's first year parent workshop. Thank you everybody for joining us this evening, and thank you to all of our wonderful presenters for doing such a great job this evening. We're going to turn it back over to Dr. Collins.
Good evening, and thank you all again for joining us. We're so excited that your students will be joining us for Fall 2020, and we look forward to serving your students with excellence. Next week, we'll have a second parent workshop, and that parent workshop will involve campus safety, housing, meal plans, Rattler cards, financial aid, student accounts, and counseling, and the counseling center. So please plan to join us next Thursday at 6:30 p.m. If you all are interested in getting more information about the first year parent Rattler engagement program, please send an email to Deborah Scarlett, DEBRA.Scarlett, SCARLETT @famu.edu. And we'll be happy to add you to our mailing list. And also you can follow us on our Facebook page, which is the Florida A&M Rattler Parent Engagement Facebook page. Thank you again for joining us, and we look forward to serving you on the Hill.